was in the front of the jersey, though, not the back.
Yeah.
I don't know about a horse collar there. Maybe a late hit, but not a horse collar.
Daniels waltzes in for a touchdown. His 11th rushing touchdown of the. Another touchdown drive for LSU. 6 plays, 57 yards, and a 2-minute span in 20.
Hello and welcome into Tigers Roar. I am Jonathan Poche, joined as always with the Bud Man, Buddy Songy, here at Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard. Come check it out. A great place to have some lunch, great deals on food, drinks, TVs all over. Great place to bring the whole family. Come check it out, Old School Barbecue. Welcome into Bud Man. Good to see you on a Tuesday afternoon, buddy.
Good to see you. Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Hope everybody enjoys Thanksgiving. Who would have thunk it, JP? LSU wrapping up Texas A&M. They were the preseason number 6 in the country. Yep. LSU, of course, picked to win 6 or 7 games. LSU at 9-2. Texas A&M at 4-7, and they wrap it up on ESPN Saturday night at 6 o'clock. And, of course, the Tigers are 9.5 and 10-point favorites. So hope you and yours have enjoyed the weekend. Look, we got to get the Jags up just a little bit. They've had some good games. They play Grambling this weekend, rivalry game. Obviously, JP, you're happy because the Saints took care of business against the Rams. And all of you Tiger fans out there should be ecstatic. And we were talking about it on the radio show today. If Brian Kelly takes care of business with his LSU football team Saturday night, I think it's going to be hard not to give him Coach of the Year in the SEC.
I certainly agree. LSU primed in a great spot to control their own destiny. Got to win out, and they can get into that Final Four. Who would have thought it, like Budman said, December last season when Coach Brian Kelly was announced as the head coach, that we'd be sitting here November 22nd talking about LSU in the top 6. The college football playoff poll comes out tonight as we tape here on Tuesday the 22nd. And we expect LSU to be at 6, Budman, behind Southern Cal. They had a big win against USC. But that's up to the voters. LSU still controls their own destiny. If they take care of business in that SEC championship in a couple weeks in Atlanta.
Well, the voters have moved up USC to 5 this week, LSU to 6. They did have a scintillating comeback victory over UCLA. Listen, it's not anything to get your panties in a wad over, simply because if LSU beats Texas A&M and then does the unthinkable, winning the SEC championship in Brian Kelly's first year, then it's going to be hard to keep them out. The problem that you have is that TCU, how cool was that to see them run the football and then get their guys in to kick a walk-off. We've seen walk-offs. We've seen winning shots. We've seen a home run walk-off like Warren Marsh, but a walk-off field goal. So they prevail. They're still undefeated. Michigan. I was texting somebody, and I might have been you. I said, I can't believe he took the field goal. He was still down a point. They come back to win. Ohio State struggled. Georgia didn't play great, but won by 10. LSU, very impressive with the 41-10 over UAB. But when you look at it, you want to bring in style points. You want to bring in the left coast. You want to bring in somebody from the Pac-12.
Right.
USC has Notre Dame this weekend, and they also have to win the Pac-12 championship. So hold on, we'll see. But we are expecting USC probably to be 5 and LSU 6. Of course, Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3, and TCU 4. Those are a foregone conclusion going into the night show.
And the New Orleans Saints pick up a victory at home for the first time in this football season. The Saints and LSU win on the same weekend, Budman. Take care of business. Beat the Rams, who are defending Super Bowl champs, 27-20 behind Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill. The 1-2 combo. They rotated quarterbacks a lot early in that game. And look, Taysom Hill's playing with a purpose. He's been good for the Saints all year. He looks appreciably better at that quarterback position, both in decision-making and his accuracy with the football. Andy Dalton gets the ball out on time, a la Drew Brees. He kind of knows when it's supposed to come out, and that's a certain nuance that not a lot of guys in the NFL have. It's going to be hard for the Saints.
I thought Andy, not to interrupt you, I thought Andy held on to it a little bit too much. When you get inside the 10, you're at the 5, the 7, the 3, whatever, you can't take the sack for 15 yards. Right. But he didn't want to have a turnover. And as we know, Andy Dalton has been a good stopgap. We don't know what's going to happen with Jameis Winston. Obviously good to see Kamara back in, but the Saints have had a lot of injuries. And as we know, it's good to see. Taysom Hill once again be involved. You know, I think Pete Carmichael has struggled, A, to call plays without Drew Brees, B, to live in the shadow of Sean Payton, and C, have to figure out all the talent that he's got at his disposal, but you know when to put him in. I mean, when do you put Taysom Hill in? Do you ask him to pass? Do you let him run in the Wildcat? All of that. Hey, I like this Rasheem Saline coming in here as a punt returner.
Right.
This guy can fly.
Yep.
I wish LSU had a guy like that returning punts, but good victory. Now you got to continue to build a little momentum for the black and gold.
And at 4-7, the Saints are still in the hunt, according to all the experts in the NFC. Looking for that wild card spot. Only 2 games out, so still in the hunt. Going to take on the 49ers next, and then Monday night against the Buccaneers at home. So, look, it's hard to know what you're going to get with the Saints because Dennis Allen is still kind of feeling that heat in his first year. Drew Brees was in the building. You can see all the love that this whole team still has for Drew Brees. They mobbed him before the game, spent so much time just talking to him, showing him love. I think that improved the play. You can say what you want. Maybe it didn't, but the Saints look like a different team, especially being in that dome against the Rams. Matthew Stafford was kind of banged up, so that offense isn't clicking on all cylinders, but still a very good defense. When you say Chris Olave winning Rookie of the Year on offense, he has some real tape out there to kind of prove that he deserves it. He toasted Jalen Ramsey. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Absolutely toasted him for that long touchdown pass.
Yeah, and back to the Tigers once again. Most of you know that they had a depleted roster as they took down UAB. Just in case you have not kept up with it, you've been to the beach, you've been wherever on your trips, Armani Goodwin out for the year at running back.
Yeah.
Noah Cain, 3 rushing touchdowns.
Unbelievable.
Really dependable. Not the sexiest guy, but you know he's going to show up for work. He's going to block. He's going to catch the football. And obviously, he is going to get the short yardage for him. John Emery, I go to the shrink on Monday, had a 30-minute session. She had to cut me short because John Emery had an hour session scheduled right after. Big fella, everybody's pulling for you. But get frickin' down with the football. Sorry to scream, folks, but 2 footballs, and they need John Emery.
Certainly.
And so this has been, I think it's now psychological, don't you?
Yeah. And, I mean, it really speaks to LSU and where they're at in a talent pool-wise in a rebuilding season. You're starting running backs out with injury. Your backup fumbles twice. Your third running back comes in and scores 3 touchdowns. I get it, it's UAB, but still, to have 3 running backs that are capable of really contributing each and every Saturday, that's a good boost for a rebuilding team.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, once again, folks, just an incredible year. Look, I'm not expecting him to get a call to go to New York with the Heisman, but I am expecting him to win a second or a third All-SEC quarterback. I think the stats, folks, when you talk about 15 touchdown passes and only 2 INTs, 11 rushing touchdowns, and 1 or 2 fumbles, had a great job with ball security. Look, we don't give the offensive line a lot of credit. Charles Turner, the center, that we were talking about last week, he misses the game, and Marlon Martinez comes right in, and you don't miss a beat. Still, are you amazed? Will Campbell started 10 games. Emory Jones has started 9 games, and they're on a 5-game winning streak. Oh, by the way, LSU, 13 consecutive wins when they score 30. But here's the kicker, and we mentioned it last week. Brian Kelly, 19-0 in the month of November. The last 5 years. Now, 4 of those years, obviously, at Notre Dame. But this guy believes in what he tells his teams. You're a contender. You're a pretender in October, and November is the time to be contenders. JP, I don't want to jump too far ahead with LSU, Georgia, but this is pretty incredible to see them put themselves in this situation, but you still got to take care of business. And who knows what Jimbo is going to call on offense, but that is a pretty much on fire dumpster fire right now with Texas A&M.
We have our first break of the evening coming up right now, but before we go to break, remind you guys, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's a great way to keep up with everything we do here on Tigers Roar. If you missed any of this program, any programs in the past, just go look at our YouTube page. They're all archived right there for you. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Go to our first break, come back and join us. We'll watch some tape from this past Saturday, LSU versus UAB. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Seagan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49, just south of Opelousas.
Hey now, give it your best, put the desire in your eyes, but you can't keep it in your heart. 'Cause misery loves company. 'Cause misery loves company. Cold and hungry like a dog in the street. I get a raw deal every.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Jonathan Poche joined by Buddy Songy, talking some LSU football, who now sits at 9-2, 6-1 in the SEC. Bud, man, look, winning 10 games, it's nice and all. Coach Brian Kelly has done it a few times in his career, but he knows you don't get parades for 10 wins. Yeah. It's all about setting yourself up for SEC championships, national championship runs. 10 wins is great, but that's not the ultimate goal.
Here's the thing that I took from last week, folks. As we started watching games at 11 o'clock, everybody struggled. TCU almost lost. Michigan almost lost. Ohio State was in a dogfight with Tua Tagovailoa's brother and Maryland. Yep. And Georgia didn't look great. They only won by 10 on the road. The point of it is that was a perfect weekend to have a letdown. And let's give a big shout out to all of those Tiger fans that braved the elements. Now, listen, I said this a couple times, and I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea, but Brian Kelly now knows the definition of a fair weather fan. And that's not to denigrate you, right? But we live in South Louisiana. When it's raining for 5 hours and when it's wind chill in the 30s, and when you have an opponent that you're favored by 15 points, you're not going to have too many people. The ones that did, I hope they wore gloves. I hope they're not sick this week. But, man, 2 games in a row with the cold temps, I'm ready, and I already looked it up, 60 degrees at kick and maybe 50s. But, hey, kudos to you Tiger fans that were out there because, as you know, we do not like LSU to play under those elements.
And we do have some highlights from this past Saturday. We'll ask the truck to go ahead and roll those. We'll continue the conversation over those highlights. Bud, man, it started early with Jaden Daniels, got the offense into a rhythm, but really depended on that running game. And LSU knew what UAB wanted to do. They were physical at the line of scrimmage. They have an excellent running back. They wanted to shut down the run and control the line of scrimmage. I think they did that early in this game.
Here's Noah Kane getting into the first. Actually, that's John Emery. Good to see John Emery get in there early. And once again, we love number 4, but he's got to do a better job of securing the football when he's getting tackled. They're punching it out right when he goes to the ground.
Yeah, Noah Kane certainly helped himself, filling in and doing a great job. Here's another special teams mistake, I guess you'd say. Not short tackling right here. UAB gets great field position at the kickoff, and they go win a score off this drive.
You know, Coach Kelly did kind of dive into this a little bit. They are trying to redshirt some of the guys, and they played 4 games. So some of those guys that normally would be on the special teams, they're not being able to play because they're redshirting. And here is this kid that's had 17 touchdowns coming in, although they held him, JP, to about 34 yards rushing for the night.
Oh, that's right. You had it right on the money, Bud, man. Dwayne McBride had 34 yards in that touchdown you just saw. LSU did a great job bottling him up. There you see a great catch right there. Jack Besh sighting. Look out, number 80 was on the field.
Good to see Jack Besh. Also, by the way, this is a game where Malik Neighbors had a big game. Here's Jeray Jenkins. I was hoping to see him get into the end zone in his final game in Tiger Stadium, but it didn't happen.
You mentioned Malik Neighbors. He had 8 targets, had 7 catches, 129 yards, 39 yards after the catch. Here's Noah Kane when he fills in. That guy runs low to the ground, low pad level, hard to bring down.
Yeah, and he's done a really good job. And wow, what a hit here. Once again, Harold Perkins.
One of Perkins, 2 tackles for losses. He's done a great job. 5 total tackles, 3 solos, and I said 2 tackles for a loss. Here's a sack, lowest sack of the game by Ali Gay, doing a great job down that red zone.
How cool was this? First time his parents ever win Tiger Stadium. I wish they had been here for the Alabama game to know what Tiger Stadium is like lit, but that was a real honor for Ali to have his parents in front of him.
That's right. Joe Fouché and Greg Brooks also had good games for that defense. They see Mason Taylor made a good catch. The tight end made an athletic play down on that goal line later in this game, but got to give him the ball a little bit more, I think.
Mason Taylor does not get a break. This is they replayed it. I don't know how they did not give him a touchdown, but oh, by the way, there's one of those fumbles that we talked about. Got to clean that up, number 4.
Yep, and here goes Jaden Daniels. He gets the ball close to the goal line right here, setting up another Noah Kane touchdown. This put the Tigers up 21-10.
I've said it this week, and I'll debate anybody about it, Tiger fans. Jaden Daniels is the fastest running LSU quarterback ever. 21 miles an hour. Of course, the old days, you just would mention 4.4, 4.35, or 4.5. But this guy flies once he turns the corner.
Jaden Daniels had 12 carries. He had 111 yards and that touchdown. Noah Kane, 13 carries, 76 yards, 3 touchdowns. Might have done himself some good in this game, Bud, man.
Yeah.
Noah Kane, he's going to move up that roster spot, get some more valuable playing time. And he does it all. He can pass pro, he can catch up the backfield, runs low to the ground, runs to space. Coach Kelly really likes the back in Noah Kane.
Shout out to one of our guys and listeners, and comes over here, Hubie. And Hubie and I were talking before the show. Look, at some point, though, JP, we remember Matt Mark running and getting hurt. Once you get this game under control, you got to quit running Jaden Daniels. You don't want to see him get hurt. And once you have a game that's out of control and winning, I don't want to see Jaden Daniels with an injury at the end. So once you get it under, put him on the sidelines and us. Here's Jack Besh. I thought it was great to see 80 back in the mix.
Another great catch right here on the sideline by Jack Besh. I agree, Bud, man. You're up by 30 points. I thought they kept Daniels in the game a little bit too long. Bring Nuss in. I mean, it was mop-up time. Certainly thought that 5 was on the field longer than I expected.
He's a long, angular guy at 6'3" and probably 195. They list him at 200, but quarterbacks generally lose about 5 pounds during the season. But he's a big target, and he's taken a lot of cheap shots, as we saw earlier in this film.
Got to give a shout-out to the kickoff guy. In Dybert for LSU. 7 kickoffs, 5 touchbacks. He's done a great job all season, consistent into the back of the end zone. And it really helps for a coverage team where it's shaky at times.
No doubt about it. And Nathan Dybert's been very, very good. Of course, they did miss a PAT, but I'm glad they got it out the way in a blockbuster big win. Here's Noah Kane. Once again, showed a little bit of speed and a nose for the goal line.
That's right, getting it down close. He ultimately punched in again for his 3rd touchdown and put LSU up Excuse me. No, I'm sorry. Oh, Brian Thomas Jr. with his touchdown catch. Excuse me. That's why they went out.
Really good to have number 11 back. Of course, he was out the previous week because of concussion protocol.
Yeah, 4 catches, 21 yards, and that touchdown you just saw. I believe this will be the last play in the highlight. This game was over with 9:35 left in the fourth quarter. That's what you expect against a Power 5 or a non-SEC opponent. Even though UAB can run the ball and they have great players and great defensive scheme, non-SEC opponent, you want to just prep during the week so you can get out there and execute, get out of the game without major injury. LSU strength and conditioning staff, their sports science medicine team have done a great job of getting this team conditioned for November, and not a lot of soft tissue injuries. But
Matt House, it's unbelievable. He shut out Ole Miss other than a field goal in the second half. He shuts out UAB. He has done a fantastic job. I got to tell you, JP, I don't know if we've seen a defensive coordinator that can make in-game adjustments and halftime adjustments as good as Matt House. Now, look, it's one thing to draw it up. You got to teach the guys what to do once you make the adjustments. This has been pretty cutting edge, and I fully believe he will be in the Final 4 or 5 with that Frank Broyles Award as an Assistant Coach of the Year.
That's right. It was announced today. He was a semifinalist. Of course, we kind of figured that would be the case, but yeah, Matt House, the second half adjustments you mentioned. I mean, he's done a great job. Been dominant in the second half of most football games.
And you remember the last time LSU had a Frank Broyles winner?
I do. Joe Brady.
Joe Brady. Who, along with Ensminger.
And here's the question. So, Joe Brady, we saw what happened with Joe Brady. Wins the Broyles Award next season. NFL offers him a big gig. Offensive coordinator is a big gig in the NFL. So, Coach Brian Kelly I asked this question in the Monday press conference. We'll let you guys hear from the next segment. But are you kind of worried that if Matt House has all this success, that LSU fans are kind of worried he's going to come get cherry-picked by a bigger program?
Well, he's making $1.9 million, and his wife and his daughter love Baton Rouge.
Yep.
And Brian Kelly is smart enough to know one thing, folks. If mama ain't happy, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
So, but I thought he had a great answer. He said, look, it's a tribute to Matt. He's done that kind of job. And I think, just between me and you, I think he guaranteed Brian Kelly at least 2 years. But I will say this, if I'm Matt House, I'd go 2 more years. I'd like to have a great reputation because Harold Perkins has got 2 more years. Can you imagine what number 40 and the LSU defense is going to look like when they bring in this slew of recruits that are all of a sudden enamored? I don't know how many LSU is going to sign, but it's going to be way over 30.
Oh, not to mention the transfer portal. That opens December 5th, 2 days after the SEC championship. LSU takes on Georgia, so keep a lookout for that. We'll take another break here on Tigers Roar. We'll come back and let you guys hear from head coach Brian Kelly, his Monday press conference. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Make the most of every moment together in a 3-row Mazda CX-9. Find yours during the season of inspiration.
Make no payments for 90 days on a new CX-9 during the season of inspiration at Team Mazda.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Gallagher. This is Roy Fletcher. We hope you'll join us for Fletch Nation, especially if you like talking politics.
Hey, come and join us. We'll give you the information, and then we'll give you the context. And by the way, we'll give you fun, too.
Lots of fun. We hit the local races, the state. We even look at what's going on all across America. And by the way, this space is available. If you'd like to talk about advertising, send your emails to Roy Fletcher at royfletcher.com and join us every week here on the Pelican for Fletch Nation.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar. Ready to let you guys hear from head coach Brian Kelly before we get to that press conference. But, man, it is holiday week, right? Thanksgiving's on Thursday. Happy early Thanksgiving to all you watching out there. LSU has to travel on the road to Kyle Field, play Texas A&M. It's going to be a little bit of a different scenario for LSU. It's going to be easy for 18, 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids to get distracted. So, Coach Brian Kelly really has to focus in the group and get them to prep right.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He addressed that at the Monday press conference, which was yesterday, and said basically, look, the guys that are going to go home locally, they'll eat Thanksgiving. But other than having the special meal with the team and the players and the families, they will leave on their Friday afternoon over to Texas A&M. I think that the one thing Brian Kelly's probably going to stress in this game on Saturday, get out early, start fast. Don't let A&M believe that they can beat you. And as we know, Jimbo Fisher, a lot of controversy and heat with him. They owe him about $84 million, and his offense is still taken out of the 1980s playbook.
Right. Now, admittedly, I haven't got to watch a lot of A&M football this season.
You go to sleep.
I know they've had close games against Arkansas and Alabama and South Carolina. But
they almost beat Alabama.
Yeah, but for me, for my takeaway, still the headline for Texas A&M was number one in the history of recruiting classes signed in 2020 with all the 5 stars, the 4 stars. Not to mention Harold Perkins that was once committed to A&M that flipped real late to LSU. Team is really young, Bud, man, and it shows on tape. I mean, they have lack of focus and they have a mistake here and there, blown coverage, but talent-wise, this team is extremely talented, and you don't want to let them think that they're going to be in this football game, that they have a shot to beat. Look, this is their Super Bowl. LSU's their rival. They've only beat LSU twice since they joined the SEC in 2012. This is a very big game for Coach Jimbo Fisher and his future at A&M. Look, they have not had the wins, as Coach Brian Kelly said in the press conference. They had not had the wins that they thought they'd have this season, but all it takes is one. If they beat LSU, you kind of have a better taste in your mouth moving towards the offseason. A lot of money went to this recruiting class, but, man, they play a lot of freshmen. This is a very talented team. I agree. You got to step on their throat early in this game. Don't let them believe they have a chance.
You know, when Brian Kelly told all of us in the media, off the record and on the record, we worry about things like this: character, culture, behavioral patterns. He came over here, and a lot of people said, why is he not going after that five-star? Because he was a cancer in the locker room. And as you know, the controversy with Nick and Jimbo, and Nick saying that he bought every player and all that hullabaloo. That being said, JP, you look at the locker room, you look at the culture, you look at the way LSU has bought in, and you look at Jimbo. I mean, they bought all those great players with NIL. And let's give A&M a lot of credit. They had all that stuff together, and they spent $30 million or whatever it was. But it's not going to make them play as a team. It's not going to make them have chemistry. And there have been a lot of defections, and A&M will probably get hit very hard in the transfer portal coming up here in about 10 days.
Well, we do have the Monday press conference from head coach Brian Kelly. We'll let you guys hear from it right here on Tigers Roar.
We'll start off with a quick recap of the weekend. As I mentioned, our guys showed great mental toughness in the way that they were accountable for, their play, right, and doing their job. And certainly a game where, not an SEC opponent, but really like the way that they prepared and played the game the right way. for 4 quarters, and in less than ideal conditions, not a full crowd, coming off of an incredible environment 2 weeks prior at Alabama. All those things usually equal into a change in the way you think. But their consistent application of our process has allowed them to, play each game with a faceless opponent and go out and do their job the right way, and was really proud of them. So I wanted to publicly say that again. Now moving forward, we take on an SEC opponent, which is well known to all LSU fans in Texas A&M, and certainly when we talk about a talented football team, this is arguably as talented as a football team as we'll see all year. They're young in some areas, but it doesn't take away from the talent that they have on the field. Jimbo obviously is an outstanding football coach. I've gone against him when he was at Florida State. Certainly this is their game, right? I mean, last one that they play this year against LSU, their rival, they'll play their absolute best against us, and we'll have to meet and exceed, our play. Certainly outstanding players on both sides of the ball. Devin Achane, the running back, is outstanding. The receiver, one of the best in the country. Again, Stewart is a guy that you have to know where he is at all times. Defensively, young and talented, outstanding defensive line, run to the football. Again, great atmosphere, and one that our football team is certainly looking forward to, and has, again, from our perspective, handled themselves all year in the right way, and will prepare accordingly for an outstanding, talented football team. They don't have the wins that they wanted, but all they need is one, and that's to beat LSU. So we'll have to prepare very well and perform well on Saturday against this football team. So with that, we'll open up to questions.
Coach, just on the offensive line, how are y'all working Garrett Dellinger back in, and just, what's the update on the offensive line going into this game?
Yeah, so Dellinger got some playing time. I thought he contributed nicely to the rotation, playing at the guard position. As you know, we started Martinez at the center position. I thought he did a nice job. Again, I think, Dellinger's best position is and more comfortable at the guard position than he is at the center position, so we'll continue to work him in.
Hey, Brian, you mentioned coaching against Jimbo. Did it 4 times when you were at Notre Dame. What are the hallmark of Jimbo teams, and what's it like coaching against, preparing against him?
Always talented. He's obviously a great recruiter, and he's talented. He's had talented football teams every year that I've gone against him. Again, the calling card has always been outstanding offenses, the ability to play aggressive defense, and just good football teams. And they've always been great games, and look forward to another great matchup again.
Brian, y'all have the chance to win 10 games in regular season. It would be the second time that's done here since 2012. Obviously, you've done that a few times already. Do you find that there's anything significant for a program just to be able to reach that benchmark?
No, I don't think they give you any ticket tape parades or anything that's. But 10 wins, is certainly a benchmark. I think, and when people look back on seasons, I think it does a lot in terms of solidify your postseason opportunities. I think it puts you in a different category. But I don't think you go into the season going, hey, we got to get to 10. I think you go into the season thinking about, winning the SEC West. This is an important football game because we want to continue to get better as a football team as we go into the SEC West Championship game. So it's important for us because each week for us is we're building something within our program. As I mentioned, the UAB game may not have been as important to other people outside the walls, but inside the walls, that was a huge game for us in terms of, doing our job, the way the job needs to be done, when it needed to be done, and that was really important for us. That That was a big hurdle for us. And this is another one. It's going on the road against a really talented team that has nothing to lose, and you have to play well because they will play up to you. So I think we just think more terms of challenges within the program than particular wins at this point.
Coach Kelly, to your left over here. Just what does the holiday week present as far as challenges to get your team prepared on the road? Just kind of take us through your schedule and how it works for you.
Well, I think the same, challenges on the road, are there for you. Thursday we handle a little bit different. We'll practice in the morning, but we'll have Thanksgiving dinner together. We'll bring the coaches' families in. The players will be with us, and share Thanksgiving together. We'll release all of the non-travel players after practice in the morning so they can be with their families. And then really from there it just becomes a normal Friday for us where we'll have meetings at noon and then, board the plane around 3, 4 o'clock and get into College Station around 6 o'clock. So then it just becomes business as usual. Yes, it's just the Thursday really that alters just a little bit.
Hey, Coach, when you were named the head coach at that podium, I think you were asked about discipline, and you said it was going to be on the players. The team was going to need to discipline themselves. What players or what leaders have you seen that have emerged in that regard and taken ownership of the team?
Well, as you know, we break our team into SWAT leaders, and we rotate that throughout the entire football team. I've never been really a believer that there's just 3 or 4 captains and they just that's it. I like roving leaders. I like that to come from all forms, from freshmen, sophomores, juniors. For example, some of our great leaders have been, Mekhi Wingo, who's a transfer from Missouri, who's just a sophomore. But we've gotten great leadership from, veteran seniors as well, and Mike Jones, who's, not even in a starting position right now, but means a lot to our football team. So I think it's important that everybody serves some kind of leadership role to get true accountability across the board. And so that's kind of been, for me, how you build that accountability and discipline, that personal discipline, when you share it throughout the entire football program and in each class as well.
Coach, now that you've gone through this league for just about a year, you got one more regular season game, anything that maybe was a preconceived notion of yours that has kind of been erased? Just your thoughts on going through this thing the first time.
No, I think it's lived up to what I had thought. I mean, it's difficult. Each and every week is a challenge. And you look at the Arkansas game, we played, a team that you saw what they did this past weekend to Ole Miss. I mean, you have to play well. And, a lot of people looked at our 13-10 game and kind of, said, what's wrong with them? There's nothing wrong with our team. It's each and every week the challenges that you get in this conference. You better be ready to play. There's no week off, and that's exhausting. That's tiring. That's why I was so proud of the performance of our football team this past weekend against a dangerous UAB team that can run the football as an outstanding back. That requires effort. That requires grit and toughness to stop a run team like that. So, no, I don't know that anything has really surprised me as much as I think, being in this business as long as I have, I think I got to know the SEC and how difficult it is from week to week, and it's lived up to that.
Hey, Coach. Just wonder if we could get an update on Josh Williams and if you think he'll be back this week. And then Noah Cain's season opportunity, that opportunity last weekend. Just what does his role look like moving forward, I guess?
Yeah, I think Noah Cain has helped himself, right? I mean, he's not flashy. I don't think he's going to be a guy that makes a ton of people miss, but does he really have to, right? He plays with low pads. He's physical. He's smart. He catches the ball coming out of the backfield. He's reliable in pass protection, and he's tough to bring down. I mean, I just think I mentioned 4 or 5 things that are pretty good to have. He doesn't have, maybe some of those, wow factors, but steady and physical and I think he leads our team in rushing touchdowns in terms of the running back position. So it's been extremely effective for us. Josh is making progress. As we mentioned, he had a knee sprain. We want to be very careful and take our time and bring him back accordingly. But each and every day, he's made the kind of progress necessary to hope that he can play this weekend.
And that was head coach Brian Kelly from his Monday press conference. The last question he was answered about Josh Williams. Making progress in practice, should be able to play this week against Texas A&M. Take another quick break. We'll come back and have some more for you on LSU football. Don't go anywhere. You are watching Tigers Roar.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi gang, Clarence Buggs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Buggs Show.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
Right now, at both locations of Team Honda, the Dream Deal sales event is now even better. For a limited time, get 0% financing on a great selection of certified Hondas. The savings are yours at Team Honda on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge and Team Honda of Acadiana on I-49, just south of Opelousas.
We continue here on Tigers Roar. LSU will travel to face Texas A&M this Saturday, 6 o'clock ESPN. Should be a little bit of a warmer game. We already talked about the weather a little bit. But if you missed anything in this episode of Tigers Roar, go check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's great to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. The Clarence Buggs Show, a whole lot more. Go check it out, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. Bud, man, going to Texas A&M, I believe it's going to be important to get off to a good start. This is a very talented, although young team. Coach Jimbo Fisher seems like he's always on the hot seat. This team is 1-6 in the conference. Had some close games, but obviously, feeling the heat of the pressure, the SEC schedule. In your opinion, how does LSU come out and show their dominance to this Texas A&M team?
By the way, in case you missed any of the tape and the media stuff this week, Brian Kelly did admit that Jaden Daniels and more players did have the flu, and they were sick against Arkansas. I wanted to see them come out and be aggressive, spread the football, throw the football, and obviously now with the running back situation, you got to figure out how you're going to be balanced. and keep Emory involved and maybe protecting the football a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I think that what I saw, man, do you realize what LSU has been doing on defense once they go to halftime? So Jimbo does have that archaic offense. You're going to see him play calling. He got, I played it today. He got asked this week about bringing in a new offensive coordinator and somebody calling the plays. They owe him about $84 million. And so they're at a real problem area and collision point because Jimbo wants to keep calling plays. And when's the last time you could say that Jimbo was cutting edge with offense? It's old school 1980s stuff. He's had to go through 2 or 3 quarterbacks. He's had a lot of opt-outs. He's had a lot of injuries. But you have to respect his opponent. And, oh, by the way, the COVID year in 2020, LSU lost that ball game 20-7. And in 2018, the worst shaft job. Well, in fact, we were doing post game right here as scoreboards at the time, and we had a big crowd in here. And I don't know how many bad calls there were, but AT and everybody in the truck can talk about it. 7 overtime game. LSU should have won that puppy about 3 times. So let's see if LSU can get back on the winning track over in College Station.
LSU 8-2 against the Aggies since they joined the SEC in 2012. Looking to keep that trend continuing. Coach Brian Kelly looks for his 10th win of the season. Of course, it's a mark he reached multiple times in his coaching career. It's not about 10 wins. It's about winning the SEC, moving on to that national championship. LSU's got their destiny in front of them. They got to play well. They got to dominate. But, man, we're going to talk a little bit about the Georgia game, even though we're not trying to look past Texas A&M. But Georgia showed a little bit of vulnerability this past weekend, only beating Kentucky by 10 points. 16-6 was that final. Stetson Bennett had the new haircut. Don't know if you caught that. He's looking stylish now. But the Bulldogs struggle, and they weren't in a flow on offense. Kentucky was able to run the football a little bit on them. I get it that it's hard to stay at that mental capacity, week in and week out, because Brian Kelly talked about it in his press conference. But Kirby Smart, we've seen him outsmart himself in games. Something has to go right for LSU, in my opinion, to be the victor in the SEC championship. But by all means, they have a shot in this game.
Yeah, LSU, of course, wraps up with Texas A&M, their rivalry game. Georgia and Georgia Tech, the early 11 a.m. ball game. Struggling against Kentucky is bad, in my opinion, for LSU because, as you alluded to, we've been talking about this all year long. For whatever reason, folks, it's hard to get your team up more than 5 or 6 times a year. When they had that big game against Tennessee, they brought their A game.
Certainly.
So they are really good. Stetson Bennett, the third, hasn't been as good maybe and as consistent. But look, they're going to have about a 90% Georgia crowd full of black and red garb on the afternoon of December 3rd. That game kicks off about 3:10. And thank the good Lord, one of the last games that we will hear Gary Danielson on the call. I don't think too many people are going to shed a tear or two once CBS loses that broadcast rights with the SEC in a couple of years. But be a tough challenge. We'll talk more about it next week, obviously.
LSU versus Texas A&M, 6 o'clock ESPN from Kyle Field. Take our last break of Tigers Roar. We'll come back and put a pretty bow on it. We'll talk some NFL and New Orleans Saints. They finally got a win. So we'll talk about the Saints when we come back. You're watching Tigers Roar.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Manda Fine Meats. The flavor says it all.
And we continue here on Tigers Roar, ready to put a pretty bow on this episode. If you missed anything from this episode, go check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All the Tigers Roar are the archive for your viewing pleasure, so go check us out. Once again, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. While you're there, click subscribe and notifications so you know everything we drop something new on that YouTube page. Time to talk some NFL football, but man, we'll get the Saints highlights rolling right now since we're low on time. The Saints pick up a big win against the defending Super Bowl champs in the Los Angeles Rams in the Superdome in New Orleans. Here's a great stop right there by Paulson Adebo. You talked about it earlier in this show. You like his what's the word I'm looking for, bud, man? You like his what, upside?
Yeah, I think that Adebo's had a good year. Of course, as we know, there's been some controversy with your favorite player not being signed and leading the league over at Philadelphia. Here's Harris Jr., who had a bunch of stops this weekend.
Yeah, Chris Harris Jr. has been a great veteran pickup for this defense. Andy Dalton did a pretty good job, 21 out of 25, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Taysom Hill also played some quarterback. He went 1 for 3 and had 14 yards. Alvin Kamara back in the black and gold. I like the throwback unis, bud, man.
Yes, I did
he
too.
had 12 carries, 42 yards, no touchdowns. Taysom Hill also had 9 carries, 52 yards for a 5.8 average per carry. Juwan Johnson also had a good game, caught a touchdown for the Saints.
I like him a lot, and I'll tell you what, folks, I wish the Tigers would look at the Saints and mimic some of those pass routes that Kamara has. But Johnson's been a much bigger part of the offense as of late.
Jarvis Landry back in action for the Saints. He had 3 catches and a touchdown. He also had 33 yards. As I mentioned, Juwan Johnson had 3 catches, 47 yards, and the touchdown. Here was a kind of weird play by the Saints. Got a great hop for the bounce and some pushing and shoving down there. But Blake Gillikin has done an absolutely phenomenal job since he's been a Saint.
He really has. By the way, back to Jarvis Juice Landry, his first touchdown as a New Orleans Saint. So good to see Juice get in the end zone.
That's right. Pete Carmichael, still the play caller for the Saints. He struggled at times in this game. Here you go, 7-3, second quarter just starting. Taysom Hill running with a full head of steam straight at that Rams secondary.
Can you imagine what it's like to try to tackle Taysom Hill when he gets running down the hill?
Yeah, not only is he fast as lightning, but that guy is strong as they come. He's not trying to avoid contact. He wants to bowl you over.
And good pad level as well.
That's right, great pad level. We also know, right there you see a touchdown right there, Juwan Johnson. He's big on TikTok, Budman. I know you don't follow him, but very entertaining off the field. Great story, Juwan Johnson. A former receiver turned to tight end, put some weight on, been helpful for the Saints all year.
Yeah, and by the way, we didn't have a chance to say this during the show, but Mason Taylor is really evolving. He got shafted on a touchdown that they overruled. But, man, look, the tight end is always going to have plenty of opportunities to catch football in New Orleans and in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, 4th and 1, big stop right there by the Saints. They get the ball. It's 10-7, 14-10. We pick it up. Andy Dalton with a play action. Looks downfield, and a great catch right here. I'll tell you what, Bud, man, Chris Olave, in my book, Rookie of the Year. All he does is catch balls for the Saints.
I had a couple buddies that were playing fantasy football, and I suggested to take Chris Olave. I want to see him in the end zone more, but he is going to be fantastic as the Saints receiver.
Chris Olave on the day, 5 receptions, 102 yards, 20.4 average. Also had a touchdown. We'll show you. That was the Jarvis Landry touchdown. Happy for number 5. Happy for Juice.
Look, Cam Jordan did play in this game, and so you were always looking for people that are going to bring. And, of course, as we know, there's one of the leaders on that team, 56.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. This is the first game because of injury that Cam Jordan had to miss. He's had a very stable career for the Saints. Good to see Passanois. I hate to even bring up his name. I don't know how to say it right, but number 90 for the Saints. He's been very valuable as like that 2nd and 3rd defensive lineman that gets rotated in. And here's the touchdown catch of Chris Olave. If you don't know, that's number 5, Jalen Ramsey, being toasted. Ramsey, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Chris Olave absolutely burnt him.
But we said it earlier in the year. Chris Olave earlier in the year was leaving his feet to catch balls. He stayed on his feet, and once again, as you alluded to, beat a really good corner and then was able to find the end zone.
And this is the good things about Andy Dalton. The ball comes out on time. He throws receivers open. He trusts what he sees. Yeah, Jameis Winston does have a pretty deep ball, but the interceptions, the touchdowns, is just not where Andy Dalton is at this point in the season. And look, I get that Jameis Winston is really upset that he, quote-unquote, lost his job because of injury, and even though that wasn't, quote-unquote, policy of the NFL, of the Saints. But, look, the team is better on offense right now with Andy Dalton. That's just the facts.
Olave catching the ball from Taysom Hill, and, of course, once again, a great game from the Saints defense. Got to continue to play like this.
That's right. Carl Granson on a big sack for the Saints. Yeah, here we go. Another sack, and the Saints are pretty much wrapping up this game. The Rams would score one more field goal, but 27-20 would be the final. Another Saint improving as the year continues. Number 55, Caden Ellis, had a great game against the Rams. And here you see his sack right here.
I like him. He's had to play, of course, because Pete Werner's been hurt.
That's right. Pete Werner, can't wait to get that guy back. Out of Ohio State, he's done a great job for the Saints. Great tackler. We both like to watch Pete Werner.
No doubt about it. Hey, once again, we want to make sure all of you out there are safe, smart, and enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend. We appreciate each and every one of you watching us on TV, radio, internet, Facebook, YouTube, the whole 9 yards.
We certainly appreciate Hubie coming into Old School Barbecue and watching the show tonight. We appreciate you tuning in on TV Land, but don't forget, check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. It's easy. It's a great way to keep up with everything we do here at the Pelican. All the Tiger Roar episodes are archived there for you, for your viewing pleasure. So go check it out. youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. I want to thank Old School Barbecue. I want to thank Pelican Broadcasting. Katie in the truck with Alan. Marty on the floor. Couldn't do it without you. We appreciate you watching Tigers Roar.